Anyway, so this is something we started. I wanted to talk about, and the Holy Spirit, the universe brought to my attention because I'm watching All American, where the girl that I was talking about, I forget her name, the mixed girl, says it's time to defund the police. Now, in the case of defunding the police, in the case of Black Lives Matter, which Black lives definitely do matter, defunding the police, in my opinion, and so many other opinions, especially the spiritual ones, I don't know who else is here listening, call me crazy or not, whatever, it doesn't matter. Defunding the police is not the best way to go about this because the police force is very much needed. And I know this is like a conversation that should have been had a long time ago, but I've been busy trying to get off the street, busy trying to get my apartment, busy trying to deal with my mental health before I can actually turn on the cameras and face the world and really communicate. Because these topics, to talk about such powerful topics, it's so important for you to be indoors, especially someone like me, versus being out there where it's dangerous. But the conversation was still being had when I was out there. I wouldn't say that I've never had issues with the police, because I've had incidents where like a white cop literally pushed me down the stairs, like grabbing me to get out, and I wasn't doing anything but just sitting in McDonald's and probably like, not necessarily acting out, but just like probably walking around. But in most shops, they don't like seeing homeless people. I was probably sleeping, and there are times where I did act out, but I don't think that was that time, right? So when they called the cops, a lot of times at 12 o'clock, McDonald's would call cops and stuff like that if they see homeless people sleeping in there, because they don't want people sleeping inside of the restaurant, right? So they called the cops on me, and so I wasn't acting out, actually, for real. So two cops came. They were both white cops. One was a regular cop. One was one was an older guy, one was a younger guy. And so the minute they both came, all of a sudden my mind switched into defense mode. It was like a battle in that moment. It wasn't even like, oh, let me just listen to the police and obey. It's just the bad cop, there was a good cop and there was a bad cop. The younger cop was the good cop. The bad cop was the older cop. And they were both white cops. So and usually they always put a mean one and a nice one together. And so I always tell the police force, like, if you're going to be a nice one, if you're going to be there, try to talk to your partner. Talk to your partner and deal with your partner before you guys get on the floor and start dealing with real life people. Because if you have the power to calm your partner down, then please do so. Do so. Because I saw it literally happen when I was in Houston. I went in the middle of the street. Somehow, for whatever reason, there were no cars, no traffic, but it was in the midst of the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, different stuff. Like the protest was going on, not at that very time, but it was still like very dying down slowly by slowly. So I had been sleeping there, sitting down, and literally I went in the middle of traffic and I sat down, and I don't know if I was doing a protest or the spirits were using me to see a message or receive a message, but there were two black cops that showed up. One of the black cops was aggressive and the other one was calm. And so the aggressive one was get up. He was acting like that, right? So the kinder one came up to me, was like, hold on, told his partner, hold on, I'm so sorry. Ma'am, if you could just get up, is everything okay? First of all, if you could just get up. I don't know if he said everything is okay, but he was like talking to me, and I was like, are you gonna let me leave my tent up there, because I don't have nowhere to sleep? He was like, you can leave your tent up there, everything's cool. So that was like a complete, like, he knew how to calm his partner up. And that's very hard to see in the black community, because I've seen a lot of black cops get aggressive, and black people are known to be aggressive because of what they've been through, not because they're bad people necessarily. No, at all. Not because they're bad people, but because they are undertrained, and they are people that suffer from mental disorders because of what happened to them in the past. It doesn't matter what you say, your actions and your behavior, your reaction towards like at your job, or when somebody goes, or when you see a situation that pisses you off, if you allow that situation to piss you off, you're suffering from something else. If you don't know how to approach a situation in a calm manner, because I could have been a person about to commit suicide. Do you care about my life as a black person? You see me right there, and are you fed up of black people, so fed up that you don't know how to kindly, especially if you are a police officer? Why are you even a police officer, right? You became a police officer to defend the African American, to defend anybody. It's not just African American community, but because you've been in the African American community and now you're in a position of power, you should know how to communicate properly, because you know that African Americans come from an abusive background, right? And they've been abused. And even if it doesn't matter if it's African American or not, just any person that you see. But a lot of times, even the African American people treat each other the wrong way. A lot of them are fed up. A lot of them are part of the KKK. They love the white supremacists, and they work for this white supremacist. That's why they act like that, because for them it's all about the money, right? So don't forget that. Not all of them, but there are those that are like that they send to hurt us, because they're not patient. They're fed up, right? And so when I was at that McDonald's, there was a white cop and there were both two white cops, right? And so the older cop was the mean cop, and so the mean cop comes up to me and he's like, why don't you get up and go? Like, he's really rude. And I looked at him and I was like, all of a sudden my mind switched. I don't know if it's the paranoid schizophrenia, my bipolar disorder, but all of a sudden I wasn't even an adult anymore. I looked around. It's like this personality turns in me, and I looked around. I was like, good cop, bad cop, good cop, bad cop, good cop, and I kept doing that. So I became like this little girl that was like good cop, bad cop, and so the good cop, the younger guy, starts laughing because it was really funny to him, and so he was like, all right, let's just go down, okay? And so we go down this. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he said, but I know that he made me feel comfortable enough to walk out, right? But then the other guy, as I was walking down the stairs, he grabs the other older white guy, grabs my sweater and pushes me down the stairs. And I didn't fall all the way. I don't know if he grabbed me, but he pushed me down the stairs, and I grabbed myself, actually. I think I held on to something. And I was like, you don't have to push me. But a lot of times when you talk back to them, they want you to argue, to retaliate, because they know that they're going to be the one that wins. They're not going to believe you. When it comes to you and the cop, and as a black person, they're less likely to believe that you are the one that's the victim. That is why it's very important to a lot of times just be quiet, just be calm. And I'm sorry that you got beat up if you got beat up, because my brother even got beat up by a bunch of white cops in the back of the car. He told me there were white cops. That's what I remember. I know he told me there were white cops. He was like, they beat me up. I'm not sure actually, but I know that he said like some white guys beat me up in the car. That's what I remember. And so I was like, damn, that's crazy, right? And I believe it, because this was Texas, and Texas is like one of the most racist countries. I mean, states in the country, because that's where racism really started, in the South. And so I go down the stairs, and a Spanish woman come. I don't know. I think it was a white or Spanish. Nowadays, it's hard to tell who's white, who's Spanish, because they got Spanish people from Spain that look completely like white women, blonde hair, blue eyes, but Latina. You know what I mean? And so like I go over to what is it called? I go outside, and the cop comes out. The woman, this Spanish or white woman, comes out, and she looks at me, and she's like, what happened? And so they looking at me, she was like, oh no. And so they explained something. She was just in there or something, and the lady was like, oh, she's fine, all right, she's fine, just go, and or whatever. So she didn't make it seem like I was just being this bad cop. But even the Spanish, it's not just white cops that are bad. It's even and not all of them are bad, but there is also Spanish cops that are racist too, and there is cops, and what I'm telling you guys is there are a lot of cops that are not trained, or that have not gotten their beauty rest, or they're not getting the right nutrition, and they're dealing with nothing but aggressive. It's like they don't even understand. They see a black woman, and they automatically feel like they need to get aggressive just because she's black. And I'm like, listen, that is not the case. Not every black woman is aggressive. Not every black person is. Guys, 45 seconds. we're almost done. We're going to talk more about this in the next video. But defunding the police is not the best way to go, just because there's so many days that the police has defended me and so many people. So we need to be careful.